Hey everybody, welcome to another Awaken Your Wealth, and I'm talking real wealth because we talk with real people about real issues, and it's about embodying real wealth in your life. I am Julie Murphy and I'm the money chick, and I always talk about how we work things out or we act them out, and we do them through our health, through our money, and through our relationships. So today we're going to zone in on the money piece, and we are going to talk about the dark side of money. Yes, the dark side of money. Consider it like the shadow side of money, some would say. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell. Why? Because I'm going to help you get to a place to a life that you love. Because money is a tool that seems to get many of us jammed up into living the life that we desire. Why is that? Because money is a vehicle that can be used to reinforce on an emotional level that you're feeling not enough, not worthy, or not feeling loved. Oftentimes, if you've watched some of my other videos, I talk about the fact that our subconscious mind is fully developed by the time we're 7 years old. And every human being that comes into this world has some kind of rejection or some kind of trauma that happens before 7 years old that hardwires into their system. And that is now your interface with the world. It's the basis of how you respond. So when it comes to money, I have realized that nobody wants to be in debt. Nobody wants to spend more than they have. Nobody wants to pay for other people that keep sucking, milking off of them. And you're successful. And on and on and on. I can go into all these different reasons. And the only reason we do these things as human beings is because of the fact that we actually are responding to the world from our subconscious mind, which is 97% of the time. And if you'd like to read more research on there, just take a look at Bruce Lipton's book. He is a biologist, and he has actually scientifically already proved that 97% of the time, this is how we respond to the world. Think of it like a computer. We have two operating systems, the subconscious mind, which is this 97% of the time, and then the conscious mind that's only responding 3% of the time, because consciously, we probably would do things differently financially, whether you have too little or too much, or you're on your way. Guess what? You've probably made some mistakes along the way, and it's because of the operating system that is your basis of how you're coming from. So let's talk about those shadow sides and dark sides of money, shall we? The first one is spending more than we make. Now, I get the fact, first of all, take that word budget completely out of your vocabulary. Yeah, I'm a financial planner, and I just said take the word budget completely out of your vocabulary. Why? Because this reinforces those suffering patterns in our subconscious mind. We feel like we are pinned down and trapped. Get on that budget. Don't do this. Don't do that. And guess what? Nobody really wants to be on a budget. Some people might get their kicks out of it, but nobody wants to be told that they don't have enough, because then we feel not enough, and then we're not worthy, and then we want to work hard, and blah, 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 blah. And the emotional cycle then continues. What I have found to be true, whether you're making $40,000 a year or you're making $500,000 a year, we really don't change and interface with money any differently depending on your income levels. Why? Because you are you, and you are wired the way you're wired. And this is why it's important that if we can start to shine the light on some of the dark sides of money and start to just recognize it. Don't judge it. Don't get attached to it. Just kind of go, that's interesting. And why would I possibly say that? Because when we start to judge or shame or blame or have guilt around our money, you get hooked into that reality. This is the way our minds work. And then you're pulling your past into the present moment, and it's making it so that you cannot create the future that you desire because you're spending too much time in your past, which actually leads me to number 2. What is the second dark side of money? So we talked about our cash flows. Cash going into your checking account, cash going out is more. And that's what it leads to. It's the dark side of money. It's the second layer. That's debt. Have you ever seen somebody when they've paid off their house, when they've paid off their car, their student loans? It's as if they won the lottery. I can't tell you, or even when you're done using a nanny for that perspective, like it's a huge payment per month that you are no longer paying out of pocket. And what's important, part of shining the light on the dark side of money is actually turning around and then using that open cash flow. Let's say you paid off your car. You use that $500 a month car payment, and now you put it into a savings account on a per month basis, like you're still making the payments because you're already used to that behavior, and call it your car fund. And we as humans will justify away and try to use it for something else if we don't actually name our financial intention. So be very mindful and aware. This is how we shine the light, is to have more awareness around where our cash is flowing and the debt levels that we're creating. Even if it's a good debt, people will tell me, well, Julie, a mortgage is good debt. Well, last time I checked, you have to actually go to a job and, you have to go pay for your past choices, because you have a hard time living today when you have all these debt payments paying for yesterday's choices. This is the crux of it. And this is why debt gives you a lack of freedom. And that's why people feel like they won the lottery when they pay off a big debt. So that's another dark side of money. Now, here's something I want you to consider, which is number 3. We have to understand that someone else has control over you if you choose to spend more money than you make and you have debt. So your life is actually not your own, even though you might be bullshitting yourself, pardon my French, that is not the case. It's because of the fact that you have money coming into your checking account today. That's maybe the bank owns your life. Maybe it's a parent. Maybe it's an ex-spouse. Maybe it's your current spouse because you're the at-home mom or something of that nature. Somebody else controls your life because you are spending more than you are making, and or you're carrying debt that someone else is in charge of. And so the bank owns you, or the insurance company owns you, or your parents. This, we have to understand that it's a system of control. The way economics are set up today in the economy on a global scale, not only down to you and I, but also down to countries. You have countries that have lent money to help out these other countries, which that's good intention. The problem is that the thing is set up so that it's super hard to get out of the debt as you're a growing economy, because you want to keep growing, you want to keep growing, you want to keep growing, because you're seeing, but then some other countries got the purse strings and they're in control of you. So it happens in a macro level these days, and it's happening in a micro level as well, when you keep charging on that credit card and not paying the balance off in full every month. This is where I really want us to see, are you in control of your life or is somebody else? And this is why most human beings today are negotiating away their own hearts and souls, because they are going to work for the almighty dollar to pay for all these past choices, because they have a lack of freedom of being able to say, hey, this job is not really feeding me any longer, and I'd really like to go to another job that's feeding my soul more, and even if I have to take a pay cut. And most people today are spending right up to the wire or spending more past the wire to where they don't have the flexibility to actually take any kind of a pay cut, let alone deal with everything else that's been going on in the world in the last few years, right? So understand, the third dark side of money is that it's a control mechanism. There is a business or a bank, even your employer for that matter, can be a control. I had somebody say to me one time, well, I have a guaranteed paycheck. I'd never own my own business like you. And I'm going, I could fire everybody else and still have a job. What are you talking about? Do we see how our perspective totally creates our reality? We have to start thinking about this a little bit more outside of the box, people, because you may have a perception of freedom or a perception that you're happy because you're able to buy all these materialistic things. But in the end, you never see somebody on their deathbed go, I wish I would have spent more. They don't say that. They don't say that I wish I would have worked more to make more money to provide for all these people. That's not what happens. All right. So we have to shine the light on the dark. And the dark, this is what's going on financially. Now I got a fourth one for you here. Number 4 is where all this leads to is when it's a runaway train, is often it leads to either you're personally bankrupt or your company goes bankrupt or even your government agency goes bankrupt. Again, this is happening on the micro level, on the personal level on people, and it's happening in our communities as a whole. It's happening to churches. It's happening to government agencies. There are plenty. I mean, it is amazing to me when I watched the crash of 08 and 09 and saw that it took years and years for particular states across the United States to actually get back to break even because they had so much debt. And so even the government agencies aren't able to pay their pension funds and this and that. And it's like, again, a lack of freedom to be able to move with the times with what is needed at that moment. So have the courage to look at the dark side of your money and how you're showing up in the world. Because I guarantee you, the minute you start to shine the light and choose to start being more aware, like open those envelopes and look at your debts and look at the interest rates that you're paying out and decide, is it okay with you or not? And decide if you want to change that or not. And keep in mind, it's super important for you to have this awareness. But what's even more important than that is that you have to accept that you 100% created all of your reality today. That's a bit sobering sometimes, but the good news about that is that you get to create something new. So if you're struggling with your dark side of money, stay tuned. I am here to help you guys. And again, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell because I am here to help you because you deserve to live exactly the life that you desire.